alleging that the walkout was more about principle than politics. She says she does not believe the House Speaker, Juliet Holness, is discharging her duties in an impartial manner. The leader of government business in the House of Representatives is Floyd Green. He joins us now. Good evening, Mr. Green.
Good evening.
Evening, Ricardo. Evening, Cliff. Even to all your viewers and listeners.
What's going on in the House?
Well, I think today was unfortunate in how the opposition conducted itself. I think for those of us who have watched Parliament for decades, there are times that the Speaker will make a ruling that you do not find favor with. It happens on both sides of the aisle, and I remember the days of old. I used to watch and say, boy, why is the Speaker being so hard on the Labour Party? But at the end of the day, you have to respect the Speaker ruling. And what happened today was that the Minister of Environment Climate Change gave a statement to the House indicating Tropical Storm Melissa, sharing the trajectory, sharing some preliminary information about preparedness. And then the Speaker and then the opposition had their shadow spokesperson, Omar Newell, give a 5-minute response. And I mean, he was free in the response as it is to highlight where he thinks the deficiencies of the government are, and clearly he did that. Then we went...
Before you continue, Minister Green, just to clarify something for the listeners. The standing orders allows the person who is a substantive spokesperson to give extended commentary.
Yes, so to give, so the statement by Minister should be 12 minutes. You know, sometimes there's a request for extension, and then the person who has the portfolio responsibility on the opposition side is to give a 5-minute response. And that happened today.
But it doesn't. But it doesn't allow every other member of the opposition to then get up and give a 5-minute long response.
What it calls for after questions. And the questions have to be germane to what was given in the statement. And, you know, unfortunately, what the Speaker is trying to avoid, a practice is beginning to creep in, where instead of going to the question, some long preambles are given. The Speaker said, listen, no preambles, just get to your question. Then the question was on a matter that would not be in the remit of the Minister of Environment and Climate Change. In fact, the question started out by saying, is the Minister aware of monies being owed to contractors by the NWA? And the Speaker said, listen, no, that is improper. Gave the member a chance to rephrase. The member got up again, same line. Called the opposition spokesperson, now the leader of opposition business, spoke to him, said, listen, do you need us to take a 5-minute recess so we can go over this yourself and me as leader of government business? He said, no. I spoke to the Speaker, I said, let's give him another opportunity. He got up again and repeated the same thing. So the Speaker ruled and said, it's improper. Who next? And member Daly got up from St. Catherine and turned on her mic and was about to ask her a question, and the leader of the opposition said no questions from this side until the question that was trying to be asked by the member from St. Mary South East is answered and is allowed to be asked, which clearly smacks of disrespect to the House, to the Speaker. Once the Speaker has ruled, she is the only arbiter on questions of this nature. Once the Speaker has ruled, then you take the ruling. Remember, the opposition has multiple avenues that they can speak to say, boy, they don't appreciate this, or the government should do more. But if the Speaker has ruled on the House, you allow the business of the House to continue. And that's how it descended. And again, when the Speaker is pulling order to the House by saying, listen, there's nobody else who can intervene. You only ask a question. You can't go into another statement. So when the leader of the opposition got up and started to speak about the conduct of the House, the Speaker rightly said, leader of the opposition, and stopped him from continuing. That is when he took up his marbles and left. And I thought it was most unfortunate. And us back of feeling a sense of entitlement that it's your way or the highway, and cause the opposition not to be there to participate in the other matters of the House. And we had significant matters, including the supplemental estimates that were tabled and taken, including NHT orders that were taken and taken, including exemption orders for the leader of the opposition, that even in his absence, we took them and sent them to the relevant committee.
House Leader, isn't this just a problem of Mrs. Holness? The opposition has a problem with Mrs. Holness. Mr. Golding clearly has a problem with Mrs. Holness. And his 27 members have told you that they would not support her. Isn't that what this comes down to? Because I read the standing orders myself, and I thought her ruling was in order. But they continue to insist that she's not being impartial.
So, I think what the opposition fails to do, and I hope that as we go on in the parliament, it won't repeat itself, is that whether you like Mrs. Holness or not, or whether you thought she should be Speaker or not, she is the Speaker of the House. And any move to undermine the Speaker of the House undermines the Parliament. And that is sometimes what we miss. We're not sitting there as people who should be acrimonious, but as people who should be working together. And again, it would have been very easy for the other questions. You know, member Malahoo Fort got up straight to the question. Member Central Westmoreland got up straight to the question. His question was a little off point because he was asking the minister about money for drain cleaning, and we know that the Minister of Environment does not deal with that. Mm-hmm. But they gave no preamble; they went straight to the point.
Yes.
So, if we take the Speaker as the Speaker, take Mrs. Holness out of it, then we can have a well-run. Because we have seen, all of us have seen, the Prime Minister in full flight, and Mrs. Holness locks off his mic because he's over the time, and he has to sit down, and the leader of government has to get up and has to say, Speaker, allow the Prime Minister more time. That's how the House runs.
Mm-hmm. Yes. No. It's going to be a rough parliamentary term. That much is
clear.
The
good news, Cliff, is that we were still able to get the business of the House done. We were able to pass the supplemental estimates, which was important in terms of reorganizing. We have a new ministry. We have heads that have moved. And for them to access resources, you have to do this process. So we were able to convene a PAAC for that to meet. And as I said, and there were other matters that we were able to get through, including exemption notices for 2 members of the opposition. So, we're dedicated to continue the business of the House.
By the way, Ms. Bertel told us earlier this afternoon that the opposition had written to the Speaker trying to get some leeway in the rules?
Your counterpart, Philip Powell.
And again, I was on an interview with Philip, and that is introduced to try and create a different context, because the Speaker did say in the House, and to go back, once I got, we had cabinet before Parliament today, and once we had signed off on the agenda, I called my counterpart and I said, Member Powell, the Minister of Environment, will be making a statement on Tropical Storm Melissa. Sorry for the late call, it was 1 o'clock, but I'm advising you so you can advise your member who will respond. The member has said, and I guess his spokesperson information, that they had written a letter to the Speaker, who she said in the chamber that she has not been able to peruse that letter, because that letter came to hand somewhere around 2 o'clock. And as such, she was getting ready for the House. But the letter, based on what Member Powell has said, was to ask for an opportunity to give a statement on the adjournment. This is what Member Powell shared on the adjournment of another interview that we had earlier on Tropical Storm Melissa. So we had already satisfied that by the government giving a statement, and they could respond to it. So the letter is really a red herring, trying to raise an issue to create a context that they're being victimized, when that's not the case. If it had come earlier, and then the letter was no longer necessary, having heard the agenda and the fact that the matter was going to be put on the agenda.
Cliff says it's going to be a rough parliamentary term. Obviously, cooperation between yourself and Philip Paulwell, that's going to be key. So far, you're not seeing eye to eye. You haven't seen eye to eye on the matter of the committee, the chair of the committee. You've not seen eye to eye on the matter of the election of the Speaker. How can you mend fences to ensure that we don't see this kind of well, she said it's
Well,
principle and not politics, but
well,
this kind
well,
of
I'll say two
grandstanding.
things.
Principle, not
I'll
power.
say two things.
Power,
I'll say
I beg
two
pardon.
things. One, I have been making genuine efforts. In fact, on Monday we had a meeting, myself and the leader of government business, to look back at the committee issue clearly. There's a divergence of opinion. I informed him after we met and looked at various options that this was the direction and that we would revisit the matter in the standing orders committee to see if we do want to make any changes on what committees now. That's a difference of opinion. As I said, I called him today. So I have kept the lines open. I have tried to be very transparent. And I think the challenge may not be with the leader of government business, but it appears that what you saw happen today was the leader of opposition usurping the leader of opposition business, giving instructions to the House that nobody else was asked a question. And then when he felt aggrieved, without consultation, picked up his things and walked out. The temperament of the leader of the opposition has to be changed if we're going to have cooperation. Because when I speak to Member Paul, well, it's cordial, might disagree, but we operated on principle. The walkout was an unprincipled stance today and set a bad trajectory for the opposition's dealing in the parliament. Nonetheless, the business of the House continued, and the people can rest assured that as a government, we will get the business done.
Minister Green, the Prime Minister clearly has started succession planning. In addition to your senior post in the cabinet, you now lead the House of Representatives. What signal do you think he's sending to you?
I think the Prime Minister, when you put in a good shift at the office, the Prime Minister asks you to do more like other, and you've seen it right across the board. You've seen it with some of my other colleagues who he's given other responsibilities. You've seen it with people who have now become ministers when they were ministers without portfolios. So I think the Prime Minister is saying that we have worked for him to develop a certain level of trust and confidence that we can manage more, along with significant portfolios. And just to get to the task and get it done, he has said he wants an action-oriented government, and that's what we're tasked to do. And I will lead the House in that regard. So I'm very happy that despite the noise, despite the your word grandstanding, we settled down as a government team. And we continued. It could have been easily that we would have gotten distracted and not complete the business, and then the ministries not have the challenge, and then the people not get the sort of interaction that they're looking for. No, we're focused on delivering for the people.
So you don't read it as an indication that your future may be bright?
But, Ricardo,
people are talking about it, though.
Ricardo,
People are talking about it.
I grew up in country. When you grow up in country, once you do a little goodness, the people tell you your future bright. So we always adhere to that, right? So no, I think it's about really. And when the Prime Minister met with us, he was very, clear. Listen, we've laid some good foundations. We have executed some good groundwork for some projects. Now is execution. As he said, run through the tape. And clearly, I think before I've had a great relationship across the aisle, so we're trying to leverage that, but, the dynamics are a little different, but we still push it forward.
When did you first enter the Parliament, Floyd Green?
2016. That's when
2016.
I first.
So you're now into your third term?
Yes, I'm now in my third term.
Okay.
And he now leads the legislative business of the government.
Yeah.
All right, Floyd Green.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
He's the Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, and also the Leader of Government Business in the House of Representatives.
Andrew Holness is doing it again. Preparing.
I'm glad you say it and me, because Minister Green clearly, expertly dodging. But, the indication is clear.
Yes.
The indication is clear.
Yes.
It's a very senior post.
Mm-hmm.